Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Maskani. I'll be at your service with the vocabularies of lesson 33 from the book 504 Absolutely Essential Words. Let's begin with the first word, volunteer. Volunteer means person who enters any service of his or her own free will, or to offer one's services. Examples: Number 1. The draft has been abolished and replaced by a volunteer army. Number 2. Terry did not hesitate to volunteer for the most difficult jobs. Number 3. The boys were reluctant to volunteer their services to help clean up after the dance. Prejudice. Prejudice means an opinion formed with taking time and care to judge fairly, or to harm or injure. Examples: Number 1. Prejudice against minority groups will linger on as long as people ignore the facts. Number 2. Eliminating prejudice should be among the first concerns of a democracy. Number 3. The witness's weird behavior prejudiced Nancy's case. Shrill. Shrill means having a high pitch, or high and sharp in sound, or piercing. Examples: Number 1. Despite their small size, crickets make very shrill noises. Number 2. The shrill whistle of the policeman was warning enough for the fugitive to stop in his tracks. Number 3. A shrill torrent of insults poured from the mouth of the shrieking woman. Jolly. Jolly means merry or full of fun. Examples: Number 1. The jolly old man, Number 1. The jolly old man, an admitted bigamist, had forgotten to mention his first wife to his new spouse. Number 2. When the jolly laughter subsided, the pirates began the serious business of diving the gold. Number 3. Are you ever that a red-suited gentleman with a jolly twinkle in his eyes is stuck in the chimney? Witty. Witty means cleverly amusing. Examples: Number 1. Mr. Carlson's witty introduction qualifies him as a first-rate speaker. Number 2. Faye is too slow to appreciate such witty remarks. Number 3. The lawyer tried to prosecute the case by being witty and thereby entertaining the jury. Hinder. Hinder means hold back or make hard to do. Examples: Number 1. Deep mud hindered travel in urban centers. Number 2. The storm hindered the pursuit of the fleeing prisoners. Number 3. Mona's gloomy nature hinders her relationships with other people. Lecture. Lecture means a speech or planned talk, or a scolding, or to scold. Examples: Number 1. Rarely have I heard a lecture with such clear illustrations. Number 2. Henry's father lectured him on the awesome perils of the drug addiction. Number 3. A famous journalist delivered a lecture on prejudice in the press. Abuse. Abuse means make bad use of, or use wrongly, or treat badly, or scold very severely, or bad or wrong use, or bad treatment. Examples. Number 1. Those who abuse the privileges of the honor system will be penalized. Number 2. The editor apologized for the abuse we had suffered as a result of his article. Number 3. Brutal abuse of children in the orphanage was disclosed by the investigation. Mumble. Mumble means speak indistinctly. Example. Number 1. Ricky mumbled his awkward apology. Number 2. The speech course will encourage you to stop mumbling and to speak more distinctly. Number 3. When the witness continued to mumble, the judge asked him to speak up. Mute. Mute means silent or unable to speak. Examples. Number 1. The usually defiant child stood mute before the principal. Number 2. People are no longer willing to remain mute on the subject of abuse of gun control. Number 3. The horror of the famine left the inhabitants of the land mute with their tragic memories. Wad. Wad means small, soft mass, or to roll or crush into a small mass. Examples. Number 1. To decrease the effects of the pressure, the diver put wads of cotton in his ears. Number 2. The officer challenged George to explain the wad of $50 which he had in his pocket. Number 3. Because the automatic firing mechanism was defective, the hunter had to wad the powder into the gun by hand. Retain. Retain means keep, or remember, or employ by payment of a fee. Examples. Number 1. Despite her lack of funds, Mr. Riley retained a detective to follow her spouse. Number 2. China dishes have the unique quality of retaining heat longer than metal pans. Number 3. Like the majority of people, I can retain the tune but not the words of a song. Words in use. Don't look over my shoulder. The kibitzer is a person who volunteers useless information, especially in card games, causing the player to be prejudiced against him. The name comes from a Yiddish word which originally referred to a certain bird whose shrill cry scared the animals away upon the approach of the hunters. Though the kibitzer may think he is being jolly or witty, his advice often hinders more than it helps. We may scowl at him or lecture him for his abuse of our friendship, but he still continues to mumble his unwelcome remarks. The serious player may even wish he could make the kibitzer mute by sticking a wad of cotton in his mouth. The kibitzer, however, may not realize that he is causing torment or distress to his colleagues. Thus, we may have to resign ourselves to his annoying habit if we wish to retain him as a friend. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in the next session.